The baseball team had a busy week.
And the men's track and field team wins another meet.
All this and more coming up on All Access. Welcome to All Access, the show that is as popular as Josh Norman is on the NFL free agent list. I'm Rachel Williamson.
And I'm Cody Decker. Going to be interesting to see where the best corner in the NFL to some is going to end up and who's going to be willing to pay him top cornerback dollars. Meanwhile, the baseball team had a dugout full of games to play this week, so let's give you the highlights. Rachel?
Thanks, Cody. Last Thursday, the Rowan baseball team fell to NJAC rival TCNJ by a score of 10-1. Rowan opened up the scoring in the top of the first off an RBI single by third baseman Matt Jolly. From there, the Lions scored 10 unanswered runs from the 4th to the 9th innings, including 4 runs in the 4th and 3 in the 8th. Lions shortstop Zachary Schindler went 3 for 4 at the plate with 2 doubles, an RBI, and 3 runs scored. First baseman Alex Christian went 1 for 2, drawing 2 walks, and was hit by a pitch, crossing the plate 3 times as well. Lions starting pitcher Brandon Zachary went the distance, improving his record to 5-0 on the season, allowing 1 run on 5 hits, 3 walks, striking out 5 batters.
The Profs would have no time to dwell on the loss as they traveled to TCNJ the next day. The Lions came out on top by a score of 8-3. The Lions opened up the scoring in this one with 2 runs in the bottom of the second, off of an RBI double from first baseman Alex Christian and an RBI single from second baseman Ben Verone. The Profs would also answer back to take a 1-run lead in the 5th inning. Designated hitter Monty Strickland hit a 2 RBI double in the left center field gap, followed by an RBI single from center fielder Brett Phillips. However, the Lions would take the lead back for good with 6 unanswered runs. Lions designated hitter Garen Turner went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Catcher CJ Gearhart had 2 RBIs of his own, going 1 for 4. Both teams had 8 hits and 4 errors in the game. Winning pitcher Eric Teasdale pitched 6 2/3 innings, allowing 3 runs, 1 unearned on 6 hits and 2 walks with 3 strikeouts. TCNJ is currently an impressive 24-4 overall with an 8-2 conference record atop the NJAC standings.
Trying to get back in the winning column, the Profs hosted Montclair State University for an NJAC doubleheader on Saturday. Rowan would use an 8-run surge in the bottom of the 3rd to propel them to a 9-2 win. Third baseman Matt Jolly went 2 for 4 at the plate with 2 RBIs and a run scored. First baseman Dylan Mendel had 3 RBIs on 1 swing with a triple in the 3rd, finishing 1 for 4, crossing the plate once. Sam Nacito was the winning pitcher in relief for the Profs, pitching 4 shutout innings, allowing 3 hits and striking out 4 batters. The Red Hawks would flip the script in Game 2 with a 5-2 victory. Like Rowan's surge in Game 1, Montclair had one of their own, scoring 4 runs in the 2nd inning. Designated hitter Matt Long had 2 RBIs, the final 2 insurance runs, finishing up 2 for 4 in the game. Catcher Aaron Kane crossed the plate twice and had an RBI, going 1 for 3. The Red Hawks' winning pitcher was Austin Minton, who hurdled a complete game, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits and a walk with 7 strikeouts.
After playing 4 games in a matter of 3 days, the Profs would have 2 more on Sunday against New Jersey City University for another conference doubleheader. Rowan captured the winning Game 1 by a score of 7-1. Shortstop Matt Jolly went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Right fielder Kyle Gola went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and also had a run. Starting pitcher Johnny Dunn earned the victory pitching a complete game, allowing 1 run on 8 hits and a walk with 4 Ks. Then in Game 2, the Profs completed the sweep with a 12-5 win over the Gothic Knights. After a 3-run start from NJCU to open up the game, Rowan would score their 12 runs, including 7 in the 3rd inning. Third baseman Dylan Mendel went 3 for 5 with 2 triples, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Center fielder Brett Phillips had a triple, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs of his own, totaling 2 hits on 5 at-bats. Picking up the victory on the mound was Brad Machinsky in relief, pitching 5 shutout innings, allowing 5 hits and a walk with 3 Ks. After this stretch of conference games, the Profs sit in 4th place in the NJAC with a 6-4 conference record.
Taking a break from their NJAC rivals, Rowan would cap off the past week with a matchup against Eastern University. The Profs put on an offensive show with a 20-3 win over the Eagles. The Profs scored half of their runs in the 7th inning and totaled 21 hits. Dylan Mendel continued his hot streak, off hitting going 5 for 6 with 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Second baseman Evan Hughes went 2 for 4 with a triple, a double, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. The Profs had 6 extra base hits and 3 stolen bases in the game. Corey Fagenbaum earned his second win on the season in relief, pitching 2 innings, allowing a hit with 4 strikeouts. The Profs' overall record is now 18-13 on the season and will look to keep their winning streak going on Friday as the Stockton Ospreys visit Glassboro. First pitch is scheduled for 3:30 p.m. It was nice for them to take a break from the NJAC conference. Every game was crucial, because they're going through the regular season, but those wins really matter.
And we're getting down to the nitty-gritty as far as the regular season goes, so all the wins they can possibly get, it only builds your momentum. And I believe the rest of the games are our conference games, so they really need to
jumping back into it.
Need to use that springboard in the non-conference game. Time to send things over to the man you know, Lenny Cheney, for this week's Pro Talk.
Thanks, Cody. This week in pro sports. The NBA playoffs are in full swing this week, but the biggest story revolves around a player whose team is not in the playoffs. That player is Kobe Bryant of the Lakers. Bryant, who will go down as an NBA legend, went out with a bang and scored 60 points in his final game on April 13th. He spent his entire 20-year career in the purple and gold. An 18-time All-Star and a 15-time NBA All-NBA selection, Bryant was also the league's MVP in 2008 and was a 2-time scoring champion. Number 24 retires as the Lakers' all-time leading scorer. A big story in the world of mixed martial arts is one of the sport's biggest stars was pulled from a major UFC event. Conor McGregor is the aforementioned star, and he was scheduled to face Nate Diaz at UFC 200 on July 9th. Diaz was formerly a replacement opponent against McGregor at UFC 196 in March. In that match, Diaz won by submission. McGregor was pulled from the card by UFC because he failed to participate in promoting for the fight, which he was contractually obligated to do. In the NHL, the hometown Flyers find themselves in a tough hole in their first-round playoff series against the Capitals. The Flyers are down 3-1 in the series. They narrowly escaped the sweep on Wednesday night when they won 2-1 on the back of goaltender Michael Neuwirth. The Flyers picked up the win in front of their home crowd and will now have to travel to the nation's capital on Friday for Game 5. Also in hockey, Blackhawks forward Andrew Shaw has been suspended for 5 games in their series versus the St. Louis Blues. Shaw was suspended due to a homophobic slur that he used in Game 4. Shaw will certainly be missed as he has 4 points in the series. He apologized to the team, the fans, as well as the LGBT community and looks to get back on the ice in Game 6. The series is now at 3-1 in favor of the Blues, so the Hawks do need to win 1 game without Shaw to stay alive. Over to the MLB, where the Chicago Cubs are out to one of the best starts in baseball. The Cubs are now 11-4, and along with the Nationals, are the early team to beat in the National League. They have the second most runs scored in the league and are fourth in on-base percentage. On the mound, they are led by reigning Cy Young Award winner Jake Arrieta, who was 3-0 early on, as well as John Lester, who now has 3 quality starts in the year and stands at 1-1. The Cubs will travel to Cincinnati this weekend to face the 8-7 division rival Reds. Over to football, where the Eagles have shocked many by trading up for the number 2 pick in this year's draft. The trade involved the swapping of this year's picks with the Browns, as well as giving up this year's 3rd-round pick and 4th-round pick, as well as next year's 1st-round pick and a 2018 2nd-round pick. The Eagles will likely pick a quarterback at number 2 and then look to trade starting quarterback Sam Bradford, maybe to the Jets. Cody? We will see once the draft takes place on April 28th. That's all I have for you on this week's Pro Talk. Later, Cody and Rachel will have updates on the track teams. But up next, Cody sits down with members of the softball team for this week's Crossfire debate. So stay tuned for more All Access.
Welcome back to All Access. It's time for our Crossfire debate. I have shortstop Shiloh Sneed and outfielder Mia Baldessari here set to jump on our topics from the Rowan softball team. You guys ready to debate?
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's get to it. So we have an infielder, we have an outfielder. Which is better and why? Shiloh, we'll start with you.
I definitely have to say infield's better. We're the first round when the ball comes through. So we need to make the stop before it gets to the outfield because that's when extra base hits occur.
I would definitely say the outfield is better because we have to do everything that the infielders can't do. And there's only 3 of us, so we have a lot more ground to cover.
Okay. Now, Shiloh, you have a lot of stolen bases on the year. Both of you, do you think it's really easy to steal bases in softball and why?
I would say that it would depend on the catcher's arm of the competing team. I'm fast, but if the catcher has a good arm, I'll doubt myself. So, I mean, as long as I stay and just, like, take that risk instead of trying to, like, doubt myself, I'm fine.
I only think stealing bases is easy if it's a changeup. Then you have some extra time.
I was going to say that changeup coming in slow, it gives you that extra jump right off the base because guys don't get to lead. So very interesting. Okay, softball and baseball were about 10 years ago out of the Olympics. Do you think softball should make a return to the Olympics? Why or why not? Mia, let's start with you this time.
I definitely think that it should be back in the Olympics because it's a good team sport and a lot of people play. And if it's in the Olympics, then more people are watching and more people want to play. So I think it's important it comes back.
Charlotte?
And like it's not as respected as baseball is. So like seeing the Olympics, I think it'll gain that respect back for the sense that like people always say like baseball and softball are like completely different. That baseball is just better than softball.
Now I'm going to follow up with that. Why specifically do you think softball doesn't get as much support as baseball does?
Well, we live in like a male-dominant society, so for the most part, like what people want to see is the men, and like they're the ones that are making the money and are on TV. That's what I think.
I just think softball's not as well known. Like there's no like the professional softball league. Like a lot of people don't even know that there is one. So I think it's important that like if the U.S. team is out there, then there's something.
Now, baseball being a lot smaller than a softball, so is it harder to hit a baseball, harder to hit a softball? What do you think about that?
Definitely harder to hit a softball. Even though it's a lot bigger, it's coming in like you're only like 60 feet apart, where in baseball you're like much farther back. You have a lot more time to see it.
Like your reaction time has to be a lot quicker in softball than baseball, like she said, because of the difference in distance.
Now, the sport, as you said before, maybe doesn't get the respect that it deserves. So do you think it should expand internationally? Should other countries try and, build softball fields and get some girls to play internationally?
Definitely, and like with that, it'll help in terms of like going to the Olympics and staying and not ever coming back out.
Me?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Short and sweet. All right. Now, let's say I'm a 6-year-old girl. What are the reasons why you would want to play softball? Why is that the best sport to play? What would you tell me?
I mean, most of my friends have been through softball. So, I mean, you'll definitely make a lot of friends. And, like, softball, like, it doesn't only teach you, obviously, like, the skills that you need, but teach you, like, a bunch of life lessons, especially once you get older, have to, like, time management and things like that.
I think it's the best sport because it's, like, very, like, skill-based. Like, you don't have to be athletic to play. It's not a lot of running. Like, it's just fun.
You actually perfectly lead me to my next question. What physical attribute is most helpful in softball, do you feel? I mean, you have to hit with power, you have to run bases, you have to run quickly, but fielding is a whole different animal. So, again, what's the best physical attribute you think you need to play softball?
I guess I would have to say muscular endurance,
Okay.
only for the fact, like you said, there's not a lot of running. Mm-hmm. So as long as you're able to keep the strength, like, through your at-bats and throwing the ball each and every day, like, your muscles are going to get tired. So if you have that endurance piece, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think that softball is one of the better sports to play because like anyone can play it. Like if you're small, you can be a slapper and like be an effective hitter, and if you're bigger, like you can hit for power. Like I think that's one of the best parts about the game is like anyone can play with any body type or any athletic ability.
So you'd say you could easily work on the fundamentals and perfect those, and that's how you can be successful. All right, so we got 2 great hitters on the Rowan softball team here on the stage today. But what is the hardest pitch to hit in your mind?
You can go.
I would say a changeup because you're so used to seeing the ball come in fast, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, and you kind of get caught off balance a little bit.
Yeah, I'll agree with the changeup. I mean, for me, I'm an outside hitter, so anything inside's like screwballs, I won't hit him.
All right, now, just real quickly to wrap up, I had the opportunity to talk to Beth Ann and Coach Wilson on Saturday after the doubleheader, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. 3 doubleheaders left. What is it going to take for you guys to keep it going? You guys have a dangerous offense. The pitching seems to be there. But what is going to be the most important thing for you to keep your success going, try and claim that number 1 seed in the NJAC, and go further from there?
Definitely being able to keep our intensity up throughout both games. Especially the past few doubleheaders, like we score a lot in the first inning, and then we kind of don't score as many, and so that could take a toll because anything could happen any given moment. So definitely being able to keep our intensity through both games, and just working each day to get better.
Me, anything to add?
I would definitely say intensity too, and just keep working hard. We have to work as hard as we were the first week, and keep going all season with that.
Ladies, thank you very much for joining me today. It was a pleasure having you on, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So that is all the time we have for this Crossfire debate. Up next, Rachel and I have more updates on everything Rowan sports. Go grab some peanuts and Cracker Jacks and come right back. Welcome back to All Access. Time to clock in on the outdoor track teams. Rachel?
Well, the men's outdoor track and field team won the Hopkins Loyola Invitational on Saturday afternoon. The meet was hosted at Johns Hopkins University and consisted of 17 teams, 6 being Division I programs. The team of Dior Hightower, Justice Pollitt, Jonathan Ramirez, and Shai Mumford finished first in the 4x100 meter relay. Jeffrey Tucker jumped 6 feet 11 inches for his first place win in the high jump. With a time of 14.31 seconds, Dave Benjamin came out of the 110 meter hurdles with another first place win. Glenn Coles took first in the discus. Rowan took first, second, and third in the 400 meter hurdles. Anthony Salimo leading the pack. Good win, boys.
While the men dominated their meet on Saturday, the women's track and field team did not have the same luck. They competed at the Greyhound Invitational held at Moravian College. Although there weren't many first-place finishes, Shayla Williams was having a strong day at the meet. She won the 100-meter dash with a new school record time of 11.96 seconds, beating her previous record by just 1/100th of a second. She continued her record-breaking ways by setting a new stadium record in the 200-meter dash. Her time of 24.41 seconds beat the existing record of 24.74 seconds. The 4x100 meter relay team took 4th place at the event. The 4x400 meter relay team came in 6th. Next, Rowan will participate in the Morgan State Legacy Meet this Saturday at 9 a.m.
On Rowan Lacrosse Alumni Day, the Profs hosted Montclair State Redhawks. In a close game, Rowan was able to hold to a 13-10 victory. Rowan improved to an 8-4 overall and 2-0 in the New Jersey Athletic Conference. Attack Rachel Hoffbauer scored 5 times. Attack Jess Haver scored 3 goals. Attack Maddie Bray collected 2 goals and 1 assist. Defender Jess Casterline, midfielder Allie Herbert, and Danielle Hubbs each scored once.
The women's lacrosse team went on to play number 2, the College of New Jersey, on Tuesday night, but suffered a 9-0 shutout. From the Lions, midfielder attack Courtney Natalicio and midfielder Amanda Mueller each scored 2 goals. Midfielders Megan Delvin and Kathleen Yeager contributed with 1 goal and 1 assist each. Adding to the advantage was defender Elizabeth Morrison, attack Mia Blackman, and attack Emily Kratz with 1 goal apiece. The Lions move up to a record of 14-1, while the Profs fall to 8-5. Next round will play their final road game of the regular season at Kane University on Saturday at 1 p.m.
Well, it's time to hear from Lenny Schnee once again as he sits down with members of the softball team. Lenny?
Thanks, Rachel. Lenny Schnee here for this week's Prof Spotlight. Joining me are pitcher Beth Van Hylen and outfielder Morgan Smith of the softball team. Ladies, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
I'm going to start off with one simple question for both of you guys, just to kind of warm us up here. What numbers do you guys wear and why? Whoever wants to go first.
Well, I wear 22. I have always liked even numbers. I've kind of been OCD about that. I've always been 44 in high school, and when I got here, we didn't go up to 44. We stopped at 33. So I kind of just cut it in half, and now I'm 22.
Oh, well, that works.
Yeah.
Morgan?
My number here is 8. My dad wore 8 in college, and our favorite player is Cal Ripken Jr. from the Orioles. So
Not a bad
kind of
choice.
just went with that.
Okay, so my first question is for Beth Ann, who was one of the Rowan athletes of the week this week. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This season you've thrown 100.2 innings. You're 16-3. You have 107 strikeouts. Phenomenal so far. So I just have a couple questions about your pitching. What pitches do you throw, and what is kind of your go-to strikeout pitch when you really want to get that really good batter out?
I have a few pitches. So if I go inside on somebody, it would mostly be fastball. Some screwballs, not really on right-handed batters, but I have curveball, drop curve, and a rise ball. and sometimes I throw in my changeup. Just it's not all that often though. I have a backdoor curve that comes inside on right-handed batters and then curves in. For my strikeout pitch though, I would either say curve or rise ball.
Okay, and now I'm a baseball guy, so I'm used to the fastballs coming in like 80, 90 miles an hour. When you throw your fastball, where's it clocking in at?
Probably around 62-ish.
Okay.
63 on a good day.
All right, well, it's certainly working so far. Morgan, I want to go over to you and talk about your hitting. We spoke before in the green room. We spoke about how you kind of had a little bit of a slow start to the season, but now you have a 357 average on the season. You've only struck out 6 times all year so far. So what is like the keys to getting going after you had that slow start?
I mean, it didn't really bother me that I had a slow start. I just had to work a little harder, but the key is just basically seeing your pitch, and that's what I started to do. I started to have a mindset when I went up to what I was going to hit. So
yeah, that's all you got to do. I guess you just kind of have to stay focused and not really try and change too much, right?
Yeah.
So also to stick with you, in your last 7 games, you have 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. What is contributing to this late power surge? You've been eating your Wheaties a lot before the game or something, or what is it?
I don't know. I'm not very superstitious, but I've been wearing a braid lately because I feel like every time I wear a braid, I hit good. But no, I don't know. I mean, I bat in the 4th spot, so it's kind of my job. Yeah, it's kind of my job to hit runs in if people are on. So I just try to hit the best pitch that I can to try to get the runners in.
I guess that's the key right there. One more question for you. Now, you have great pitchers like Beth Ann right here, along with the rest of the staff. Is there some extra pressure kind of on the hitters, especially somebody like you who hits in that cleanup spot, to perform better when you know that the pitchers are going to go out there and perform unbelievably every game?
Not really. I mean, our pitchers are great, so it's we have to hit for our pitchers. We have to help them out. But it's no pressure because our team is just good. So
you can trust them, I guess,
yeah,
right?
Everyone trusts them.
Now, Beth Ann, a question for you. 4 years ago, is this your 4th year here at Rowan? Yeah. So 4 years ago, you came in here. You're a young pitcher. You're a freshman. Did you ever think that you were going to get to that 50-win plateau? Was it ever a thought in your mind? And how does it feel to have those 50 wins?
I honestly had no idea I was going to get that. I really it took me kind of by surprise. I said, 50 games. That kind of came up quickly. I mean, I have been here for 4 years, but still, I really didn't expect that, and I wasn't really aiming to get, to a landmark like that. But I don't know. I just go in whenever they need me, and I love winning really close games and everything like that. So just our last game against Rutgers Camden, that was a big win, and those are the ones that I really look back on and appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, awesome. Just another question for the both of you. I noticed when looking at the schedule, you guys play tons of doubleheaders, especially earlier in the year when you were in Florida. You guys were playing doubleheaders every other day. It's just, I feel like you guys get worked really hard. Do you have to do anything special to be able to go out there every day, doubleheaders? I see that you've pitched in multiple games of doubleheaders sometimes. What's the key to that?
I guess just staying calm, trusting my hitters to be there to make it not such a hard game for me. It's a lot better on me physically and mentally when my hitters are hitting for me. I don't know. I just kind of go with the flow. I don't really think about I'm so tired, I need to just go to sleep right now. I kind of just power through the day, and I don't really think about how tired I am.
And what about for you, Morgan, from the player standpoint? Anything different that you have to do when you know you have that doubleheader coming up? You know that you're going to play a lot more innings than you would normally?
I don't think so. I think the key is just staying focused, not getting off task. We usually dance or just
to have a little
keep
fun?
it pumped up. Yeah. Because you can't lose intensity going into that second game. So.
Okay. Now back to you, Beth Ann. You're a senior. You are a sophomore, if I'm correct. So it's obviously a little bit different, depending on what class you're in. How does it feel to be a senior and to be kind of one of those leading voices on the team?
It's really exciting to be in this position. I mean, I've looked forward to being a senior, being in charge, and taking care of a team. I think back when I was a sophomore and when I was a freshman, I kind of was just playing, and I had this unlimited amount of time. And now I'm kind of seeing the end, and it's sad knowing that I won't be able to play competitively anymore. But I'm just making the most of it. I try not to think about it. Like, that's the most I'm going to think about it, and I don't want to think about it too much, and then I'm just going to get upset. Like, I'm just kind of enjoying everything day by day.
Awesome. Well, just to wrap up, I'm going to tell everybody that you guys are 27 and 7 on the season. You have 3 doubleheaders remaining. You're facing New Jersey City University. I believe that is tomorrow. Then William Patterson coming up, and Rutgers Newark. So, some big games coming up. Just real quickly, what do you guys think you have to do to close out this season with a bang?
I think we just have to take it to teams, show them that we're here. We're not here to make friends. We're here to play competitively, and we're not going to let up.
Awesome. Morgan?
We just can't let teams play with us.
All right. Very simple, and best of luck in these last couple of games, guys. Fortunately, that is all the time we have for this week's Prop Spotlight. I would like to thank Beth Ann and Morgan for joining us. Coming up after this mound visit, Cody and Rachel will have more updates on everything Rowan sports. So stay right here for more All Access.
Welcome back. It's time for Last Ups here on All Access. So let's recap the props past week on the softball diamond. Cody?
Thanks, Rachel. The Rowan University softball team swept Kane University 6-1 and 1-0 in a conference doubleheader on Saturday. The Profs are now 24-6 overall and 7-1 in the NJAC. In Game 1, Beth Ann Highland tossed a complete game while only allowing 3 hits and 1 run. Right fielder Morgan Smith produced 2 hits and 3 RBIs, one of these hits being a solo home run. Shortstop Shyla Sneeve was 2 for 4 at the plate with 1 double, 1 triple, 1 RBI, a run, and a stolen base. Game 2 was more of a pitcher's duel. Rowan came out victorious, but only by a score of 1-0. The lone run was scored when in the 6th inning, designated hitter Ashley DeYoung doubled to right field. She was replaced by pinch runner Christina Mueller. Smith reached on a single to center field and went to second on an error. Mueller came home on the error. The Profs were led by pitcher Allison Nolan. Nolan tossed 3 perfect innings and had 5 strikeouts.
The Rowan University softball team split a conference doubleheader at Stockton University on Sunday. The Profs had an 8-3 win in the first game, and the Ospreys took the second 3-2 in 9 innings. Beth Ann Highland pitched in Game 1. She pitched 5 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits and 3 earned runs for the second day in a row. Morgan Smith put 1 over the fence. She had 3 RBIs and scored 2 runs on the day. Third baseman Nicole Peyote contributed with 2 hits and 1 RBI. First baseman Demiras Mercado added 2 RBIs, while left fielder Mia Baldassari and catcher Alyssa Sims chipped in with 1 RBI apiece. In Game 2, Samantha Shockey pitched a complete game for the win in the nightcap. She allowed 5 hits and 2 earned runs, giving Stockton the win. Highland got the loss in relief for Rowan. Rowan's 2 runs came in the 3rd inning. DeYoung had an RBI single, scoring Sneed. Pinch runner Rosalie Hood replaced DeYoung and later scored when Mercado walked with the bases loaded. The final was 3-2 Stockton.
On the last 2 home games for the seniors, Rowan played host to Rutgers Camden. The Prof senior players include catcher Alyssa Sims, Ashley DeYoung, Shyla Sneed, Beth Ann Highland, and Allison Nolan, and they were honored after the doubleheader. Highland was the winning pitcher in the first contest and earned her 50th career win. She gave up 3 hits in 4 innings with 5 strikeouts. Center fielder Gianna Janello contributed with 1 hit, 2 RBIs, and a run. Alyssa Sims was 2 for 3 with 1 run. In Game 2, Ashley DeYoung played the role of hero. DeYoung recorded a home run in the bottom of the 7th inning for the victory. It was her 10th homer on the season. In the 3rd, she also hit a solo shot to right field, which tied the score at 1. Rowan has a 27-7 record overall with a 10-2 mark in the New Jersey Athletic Conference. Next, Rowan travels to conference opponent New Jersey City University on Saturday, April 23rd for a 1 p.m. doubleheader.
Well, Cody, unfortunately, it's time to walk off for this episode of All Access.
Oh, man.
Well, next week is our last week of All Access, so make sure you tune in. For Cody Decker, Lenny Schnee, and the entire All Access team, I'm Rachel Williamson. Come back and see us next week.